result of what has happened in the country. You are a parent, and so many others are parents. To see our young people being handled the way they have been handled, it is something which is extremely worrying. Extremely worrying. So I mean, after discussions with friends and others, and after serious reflection, I thought it is time that we think about the leadership of this country. We think about the leadership of this country. We can't let some people literally throw our country to the dogs. We need to think about that seriously. And it is as a result of that reflection, I have made up my mind that I will run in 2027 for presidency of this country. What we are having now is a state of affairs where we are leading to a total breakdown of the rule of law. As I've said, those in authority think they can do whatever they want to do, and escape with it. If we continue with that, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. We will not have a country. So my view is that, given a chance, I would want to call the country back to order. With humility, I would want to call the country back to order. Why? I mean, how? I would require, I mean, as the head of state, with the powers given to that office, I would require everybody to obey the law, starting with myself, and then things will fall into place. Without that, we are going to lose, as I've said, we are going to lose our country. And I mean, I think we are in that moment where we need somebody courageous to do exactly that. And with humility, Joe, you were around here, you know what I did in 2017. When there was a stolen election, we nullified it. When there were petitions that Parliament had refused to enact legislation to implement the 1/3 gender parity, the petitions were brought to me in my capacity individually as a Chief Justice, and I recommended to the President to dissolve Parliament. With humility, if Kenyans gave me the authority, I will be firm and make sure that we are an orderly country. As I told you, I will get some diligent officers, both in EACC and from the police. Tell them, look, I want thorough investigations done, and let there be convictions. Let there be convictions, and you can rest assured, with that kind of assurance, and some of those corruption deals are documented. They have documents. So it's a question of telling the officers concerned that investigations have to be done. If they don't, I will have a mechanism of checking whether or not these people we are entrusting with that kind of responsibility are themselves carrying out their duties, or they are also being sucked into the bandwagon. So we have to deal with that, and it's a question of putting mechanisms in place, and we will move on. We have the best laws. We have the best laws. I can tell you, something like money laundering, Kenya is having one of the best provisions to deal with money laundering. But what do we get? We are being listed in other areas that money laundering is now being that kind of reasoning. As head of state, you read the Riot Act. I've told you, you read the Riot Act. and get things done. Let me tell you again, especially if you are able to deal with the top leadership of the country, you will send a very, very strong message that it is not going to be business as usual. You will have to start from the top and ensure that the people who you surround yourself with are not the ones who are going to be the first ones. It has happened in other countries. We have cases of Singapore and others where somebody has said, look, this can't be done, and we have got to deal with even family members and ensure that the right thing is done. And I can assure you that we will succeed. It will not be an overnight fight. Here we'll start with the budget corruption, and I can assure you that we will get some money to get our children to school. We will get some money to get drugs in hospitals. I have teams working on that, on what we need to do so that we provide health care, so that we get our children in school. And it's a question of seeing the priorities you have, the resources you have. Look at the priorities you have, which are the areas that can't wait. You can't tell me that a child who is in an examination class is going to be told to wait because there is no money. You lose generations of young people that way. So it's a question of getting your priorities right with the resources you have, and in due course, get things moving. I'm very uncomfortable because the election laws require that the IBC should be in place. There's a lot the IBC is required to do. Besides the boundary delimitation, the registration of voters, there is a civic education that they have got to carry out. They have got to organize themselves a lot, and they require a lot of funding quite early so that they are able to carry out their functions. The fact that we already, we are just almost a few years, 2 years to the elections, and IBC is not yet in place, is a worrying thing. It's a worrying thing, and look at what has held us up to this time. Some people have dragged their feet to have the IBC in place, and they are going to have to delay that. But that notwithstanding, we cannot give up. The Kenyans are resilient people. We are not going to give up. We are going to ensure that all is done to make sure that we have a fair election. To carry out civic education, tell Kenyans how important it is to vote. Tell Kenyans how important it is to ensure that the relatives and the friends and everybody registers and comes out to vote. And then, more importantly, tell them where we are and what has brought us to where we are. That unless we think seriously about election, a country is as good as its leaders. An opportunity. Corruption, I will face corruption head on. And I know what I am up against in that. I am going to have to step on very, very thick toes, but it requires someone to do it, and trust me, I will do it. This country requires very, very many people. Very many people. What I can place before the Kenyans is that I am going to get a team of professionals in various areas. I will not purport to know what is done in the medical field. I will leave that to the experts. What I will do is I will do the necessary vetting, get the right people in the right place, and once they are there, allow them to work. Give them the confidence they require to work, but call them to account. And I believe that is what is required. And if Kenyans trust me, that is exactly what I will do. Our institute